And oh my God, you guys, this is going to be such a pivotal week. But before I dive deeper into that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on the Jean Claude Beyond Mystic 003 channel on YouTube. And of course, also on Rumble. So, if you want to book in a personal astrology session, you can find the links for that in the description box below, and you can book that in on the Beyond Mystic consultation page. Don't forget to use the coupon code Beyond Mystic to get 10% off. So, let's dive into this week because I've honestly got a lot to share with all of you, and let me know where you are watching this from and how you guys are feeling because I can imagine we are all feeling like something big is around the corner. And I don't know if you guys can feel it, but I can definitely feel it very, very strongly. We are now building up in this week towards a solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. So that is going to be a doozy for sure because Aquarius, of course, it is about innovation and change and also unpredictability. So within the next 2 3 weeks, expect the unexpected. And Uranus and Aquarius, it is about insights that are not yet within our conscious brain. So it's really not the things that you are expecting that are about to pop off. It is something totally different. And it's going to be a very, very big plot twist. I'm sure of that. So let me know if you guys are feeling that as well. And of course, Aquarius, it is also our nervous system. And we are seeing squares to Uranus this week still, and that really hits our nerves. So, yeah, we really need to focus on calming down our nervous system because there is so much energy at play right now. We are heading towards a Saturn Neptune conjunction, which is going to be a pretty big one. And yeah, these next couple of weeks, it is really going to be a lot to deal with, and we all need to support one another because yeah, Aquarius and Uranus, it is about unpredictability and a lot of change and really about disruption most often. So we all need to collectively work towards balancing each other out and balancing our own nervous system because it is actually a lot right now and there's a lot going on. I'm going to walk you through the entire week, of course. And hi everyone, hi Stain, and hello Guinness girl. Yeah, is it sunny in Florida? I can imagine. Actually, here in Belgium, this is the first live show, and I'm still having light outside. So the days are getting longer. The light is returning here for the Northern Hemisphere. So I'm pretty excited for that. Let's just bring in the summer because first, during the spring, we need to go through a little bit of unpredictability, and we are strongly getting pushed out of our comfort zone here. And I'm not even talking about Saturn and Aries yet, which is here listed on my slide. There is so much going on, you guys. The next 2 weeks, it is incredible. And it is actually, I don't know where to start first because there is so much going on. And this is rare astrology. Really, really rare. So, good morning to each and every one of you. Of course, I am 6 hours ahead of you guys. So, it's actually 6 p.m. here for me. It is almost dinner time. So, yeah, let's kick off the week. Oh my God. Do you guys feel a little bit tired and like a little bit overstimulated? I would say wired, but a little bit tired because our auratic field is having to deal with so many shifts right now, and it's actually a lot to take in. So, and Fantasy says, where do you live? I live in Belgium. So I actually speak Dutch. And hello, Elwood from Arizona. Is that correct? I was almost going to say New Zealand. So Guinness Girl says, yes, same here. This is the first steady warm up we've had, and I'm over here manifesting summer. Yeah, well, I am gonna manifest together with you. I cannot wait until the summer returns. And Laura says, yes, yes, with it and tired. Yeah, I think we can all feel it. There is something big around the corner, guys. The next 2 weeks, it is going to blow our socks off. So, Venus is gonna enter Pisces. She has already, she did that today already for me here in Europe and also for you guys already in the States. Mercury is also gonna hit the North Node later this week. Saturn is gonna enter Aries, and we've got a big solar eclipse. Oh my God, these times are unprecedented, and we are in uncharted territory. There is so much going on. It is literally insane. And Chili Willy says, very hard to understand what she is saying. The country's language is English. Well, I actually speak Dutch. And if I were to speak in Dutch for you guys, it would probably sound like Chinese. So I'm being mindful of my articulation, and I'm gonna try to slow it down so you guys all are able to understand me. And Fantasia says, is extra vitamin B12 helping us with our nervous system during this time? Yes, definitely. But it would be mostly important to do a little bit of, first do a blood test before you implement a whole set of supplements, because sometimes we don't need them. What helps for me during this time is actually taking high medical grade saffron. So saffron, or how you articulate it, it is actually to calm down the nerves, and it helps for a good mood and for feeling relaxed. And I think we can all really use that right now during these very unprecedented times of change and unpredictability and all these plot twists and surprises that are about to come onto our path. It is actually a lot. And Denise, thank you so much. You speak great English. Thank you, Denise. But I know for some people it can be a little bit harder. And Kelly says, feeling exhausted, dizziness, and nauseated randomly, lots of downloads happening too. Exactly. That is actually what Aquarius is all about. It is about downloads. It is really about receiving massive upgrades right now. And like, we live in a matrix, and how we decode the matrix is by looking at astrology. And I know a lot of you guys are already unplugged from that, but still, we operate within this motherboard of reality, and our brains, how it like wires and fires together. All of the brain chemicals right now are getting and receiving a massive upgrade, because Pluto right now is also over 4 degrees, so we have never seen it. Pluto in Aquarius, power back to the people. It is now a step like further in time than we saw last year before the retrograde. Then we see the Saturn Neptune conjunction about to take place at 0 degrees of Aries, which is like amazing, because 0 degrees of Aries, it is actually the world point axis. So Saturn is going to ingress into Aries on the 13th. For Europe, it can be the 14th, depending on where you live in the world. But 0 degrees of Aries, if you look at the draconic chart, that is actually our collective north node that is being placed there. So Saturn, Neptune together conjunct on this important placement is actually signifying a very big upgrade and a very big reboot in all of our collective destinies. So the north node is not only destiny, it's where we need to lean into as like a collective. So that is massively restructured, and like our previous destinies are getting dissolved now by Neptune, and Saturn then ingressing on the 13th of February is like rebooting that and bringing new structures and new karmic lessons. Guys, this is such a big time. It is, I'm actually getting the chills, because I'm so happy to be alive right now, right here in this moment of time, in this interesting energy and earth that we call our reality, because everything is about to crumble and is about to be restarted. So yeah, we are receiving some kind of a new software right now. It is pretty profound. And I'm going to explain more about all of that during my Eclipse workshop that I'm going to be hosting on Sunday. So I've really put my heart and my soul into it. And I've like went to great lengths to really teach and inform you on how the solar eclipse, now the first one in the sign of Aquarius, is actually going to play out over the next 6 months. So yeah, exciting times. And if you feel a little bit dizzy, or if you have a lot of ringing in your ears, just know that it's also the solar flares. We have so much and so many geomagnetic storms going on top of all the rest. Like, we are being upgraded, and it's about our collective destiny and our collective soul growth that is being massively rebooted right now. So really look in your own chart, because the Saturn Neptune conjunction that is about to happen at 0 degrees of Aries, because that happens on our collective North Node, it is also going to be putting a very big emphasis on your own North Node. It doesn't matter where it's placed. It is rebooting everyone's destiny right now. And the North Node, it is uncharted territory. It can be a little bit more difficult to really lean into the energy of the North Node, because it is unfamiliar, it is uncharted, and it can feel uncomfortable. And I think uncomfortable is going to be the word for the next couple of weeks, because that belongs to Aquarius and Uranus. And if you feel like you're being pushed out of your comfort zone right now, and if you feel a little bit anxious or a little bit nervous, just pat yourself on the back. That means that you're on the right path, because our old world is ending as we speak. The Saturn Neptune conjunction, it is so big, and this is going to be a massive triggering event that is going to happen either a few days before the 20th or after. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the exact day. And it's also kicking off a whole new 36-year cycle. But the last time Saturn and Neptune were conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries was 4341 BC. So 6,000 years ago. This is like incredible. So back then, that was the time when they started recording, and like recording history, and language started to appear, and culture and like civilization as a whole started to come into much more form. So you can already imagine what it's going to bring now over the next couple of years. These next few years are really interesting. So yeah, it is quite important. And hey, Kriya Design, she says lavender baths. Exactly. Like, do a lot of salt baths, put some crystals in your bath, and be careful about which crystals you put into your bath, because some get dissolved by the water. So really put also attention on that. But yes, lavender baths, I love that. I love going to the sauna and the hammam, where they are putting eucalyptus in the fog. And I think that is also a very good way of tapping into the energy right now, because there is a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of disillusioning going on. There is a lot fog still, because Saturn right now is at 29 degrees of Pisces. So at the very end of the wheel. So this is about final endings. It is about closing up a major karmic cycle. And a lot of us feel like, okay, we are on the threshold of another, not chapter, it is a whole new book that is about to be written. And it feels like, okay, we're not done yet with writing the last pages right now, and we are being pushed into this whole new book, a book we've never read before, a book that is quite uncomfortable because it's going to push us out of our comfort zone. And I can see it around me. A lot of people are looking at the book, but they are afraid of opening it up. And guys, if you feel afraid, that is okay. It is only a sign of the universe that you're actually growing. Fear can be used in a good way. If we can switch it And if we can use it to our advantage, if we use it as fuel instead of letting it just block, then it can actually be a helpful way. It's like when I feel fear, I say to myself, like, okay, Astrid, you're feeling fear. That is actually good because it means that you're growing and that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. So do not let fear overwhelm you right now. Saturn at the end degrees of Pisces, that is like the last tiny bit of the mud that we were stuck in. So also, we are about to see a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces by the end of this month. So that is still, we are closing the whole Pisces chapter. And oh, dear Lord, I'm so happy that we are wrapping it up. So we now have the Mercury retrograde. And then by the end of August, we have an eclipse in the sign of Pisces, a lunar eclipse, which means it's a full moon lunar eclipse, a very, very big release. And thank God, after August, we're going to be able to finally close the whole Piscean chapter. And I think a lot of people are going to be very, very happy about that. So, hey, Hannah. Hannah says, I feel like hanging in limbo. Yes, exactly. That is the Saturn Neptune conjunction that you're also feeling. And I know, Hannah, I know you are an Aquarius. With all of this Aquarian energy and an eclipse about to pop off into your sign, that is definitely also why you are feeling that right now. So thank you so much, Laura, and thank you all for tuning in, even from Denmark. And Gilmore, thank you also so much for all your sweet, sweet comments. I am really, really feeling the love, and I'm even having difficulties of keeping up with all of your sweet comments. So yeah, kind of like a reboot, exactly, Fantasia. There are lots of like this eclipse in Aquarius, it's going to square off with its ruler Uranus. And Uranus is just going back direct in the sign of Taurus. It did that from the 3rd of February. So it's still like it's moving, but so slowly. It is like still like, you can look at it as like a diesel engine that is about to like fully start, but it's still like taking tiny steps into moving forward right now. And then the Aquarius eclipse on the 17th is going to make a square to its ruler Uranus. And Uranus is in Taurus, and Taurus rules over our values, our love, money. So that is also why we are seeing so many financial difficulties right now. And also, the solar eclipse that we're going to see right now in Aquarius, it is a North Node solar eclipse. Even though the North Node is still in Pisces, it is like it is close enough in proximity to already pick up the energies of the North Node. So it is like the first North Node eclipse that we're seeing in the sign of Aquarius. The last one we saw was in February of 2008, just before the Great Recession kicked off. So that is like why so many volatility is being displayed right now in the markets and our fiat currencies and the devaluation of certain currencies. So yeah, we are heading in the next 2 years towards another monetary system. We're gonna see bottoms right now, like stock bottoms. The next 2 years, it is just a very, very big signature of like hitting the bottom, especially over the next couple of months. But then Garden Star says, exciting times for sure. And yes, it is exciting. And even though it's a bit unpredictable and we are going to see crashes in regards to the financial teams, and that is, of course, not exciting unless you've listened to JC and Jean-Claude, Janine and JC for the last couple of years, and you've like really backed up your hard-earned money, or it doesn't need to be hard-earned. I hope it is not hard-earned for you. But if you've backed it into silver or gold, then I think a lot of you guys are pretty excited right now. So that is then like the opposite. So yeah, it is a very, very, Stephanie says, insane revolutionary energy. Yes, that is well put, Stephanie. So Rosalie says, what is important on what to focus, be aware of what? I think the most important thing is being open. being flexible. Do not cling to the familiarity, because the old world is dying. This is like the last gasps of a dying old world, and we need to leave that behind. Saturn right now at 29 degrees of Aries, of Pisces, before it switches in Aries, is a very, very big implication of that. It is about very big karmic repercussions and the karmic cycle that is about to close. So do not lean into the past. Also, do not obsess over the future, because it is not set. It is not visible right now. It is not yet within our consciousness. So we need to really work on tuning into positive frequencies, because Aquarius and Uranus, they rule over energy and vibration, and it's like the invisible fields that connect us all together. It is also like-minded people. And when Pluto was still in Capricorn, that was all about having a big house and a high status and showing off with my new car. That was like how one's worth was like set upon. But right now, Pluto is in Aquarius. We have this Aquarius eclipse. A whole new set of eclipses is going to play out over the next 2 years. The most important thing right now is connecting with the right people. Like having the right people surrounding us, that is going to be the new currency, and that is going to be the new way of like, oh, look at her, she is connected to him and her, and she has those connections. And that is what is going to help us through the next 2 years. Not our big house, not our fancy car, even not the amount of dollars on our bank account. It is actually the people that can help and support us through this time of change and a little bit of upheaval and disruption with Aquarius. So also know that you actually become the average of the 5 closest people around you. Like when I read that for the first time a couple of years ago, I was like, whoa, I am like so closely intertwined with that person, and that person is like partying a lot and drinking, and it was like during my teenagers years. And then it became really, really obvious that you need to be very, very careful who you let into your energy, because it like melts together. And that is also a way of me looking at the synastry or the composite chart on how people like intertwine with one another, and if that's beneficial. So if you feel drained, if you feel emotionally unstable after meeting certain people, this Aquarius eclipse is going to eclipse them out. We're going to see so many changes in our friend groups and in our social sphere and our closest circles and even communities. And it's really a very big focus on starting your own community and really building and leaning upon the people that can help you and that can calm your nervous system. It is actually quite simple. If someone triggers your nervous system and you feel on edge and you feel disrupted, then that already says enough. And not that you cannot like ping pong with one another to cause soul growth. That is something else. If people leave your social battery, if they drain it, then it's time to let it go now. Do not cling to the past and to people that are familiar, and do not feel guilty about letting new people in that are more absorbing or sharing positive energy. That is going to be so important, because we are feeling so much more, we're becoming more sensitive to that. So it is the end. Leslie says, hi Leslie, the end of martyrdom. Yes, whenever Saturn enters Aries, enough with the martyrdom, enough with the victim mentality, enough being stuck in the mud, sacrificing your own needs. Do not, and also with the South Node in Virgo, we actually need to stop fixing other people's problems. Like, I'm a Virgo rising. If you're a Virgo Sun, Moon, or Rising, we are known for like cleaning up after other people's mess, and there is a collective push right now to all stop that. We need to like egotistical is not the right word. It is like we need to care more for ourselves, and like everyone always wants to change the world, but we can start by cleaning up our own mess, and that will be a very good start. And that is really also the emphasis of the south node in the sign of Virgo. Stop being too critical, stop being too nitpicky, just release all of these tendencies and lean into the north node in Pisces for the next couple of months, before that also shifts over into the sign of Aquarius. Like, this is exciting. A North Node in Aquarius by the end of July. And I'm going to talk more about that in my eclipse workshop as well. This is like very, very exciting. So, and Fantasia says, breath work. Yes, breathing a couple of times a day. Like, I can give you like a bit of an example for this Aquarius eclipse that is about to kick off. So you can like put your fingers here, and then you breathe in through this, and then you breathe out to the other side. And you repeat that a couple of times, and you start with left and you end with left. Like I went doing ceramics or pottery this weekend, and my fantastic pottery teacher, she always does like meditations with us, and she was showing like this breath, and like I forgot about it, but it works so well if you are having problems with falling asleep. Then if you do this breathing exercise, and there are multiple other ones like box breathing is also very, very beneficial, and it helps me whenever I feel a little bit overwhelmed. But feeling overwhelmed, it is okay. It is only when we feel overwhelmed that we mostly start fighting against it, because it's uncomfortable and we do not want to go there, and we do not like, yeah, it is just like a normal human thing. But if we accept the fact that we are overwhelmed, that already is like half of the work of like releasing it. So accepting, surrendering, that is leaning into the North Node in Pisces, really tuning into your intuition, feeling your emotions, being forgiving. And that is actually all beautifully enhanced this week, because Venus just popped into the sign of Pisces today, and I'm born with a natal Venus. So it is like a very, very welcoming change for me. And also for our planet Venus coming out of Aquarius and squaring Uranus. Now she's done with that, and now she ingresses into the sign of Pisces. So that is really, really a very big welcoming change. So yeah, let's start and dive into the week ahead. So of course we're gonna start with today, February the 10th, and I'm going to highlight a little bit more about Venus entering the sign of Pisces. This is a very big emotional shift. Here we can see Venus. She's now at 0 degrees of Pisces, and Venus is exalted here. She loves to be here. She thrives here, and she moves away from like the Aquarian side, which was more emotionally detached, and she was more logical and more future oriented. But now Venus in Pisces, that is like where everything softens. And you guys, this is important because Neptune just left Pisces, it's in Aries, and on the 13th or the 14th, Saturn is gonna leave Pisces, and now Venus comes in, and Mercury is already here, and it's gonna meet up with the North Node this week. Guys, oh, the North Node, it is destiny. A lot of destined conversations in regards to finances and love are gonna happen this week, and then Mercury is gonna go retrograde, and then we can get like, I see retrogrades as like a gift of the universe. And I know a lot of astrologers do not agree upon that, but I've noticed in my own life, whenever there's a Mercury retrograde, then it gives me some kind of a solution for a long-standing problem. Maybe that's also because I'm a Virgo rising and Mercury is my chart ruler, but still, when there's a Mercury retrograde, we get like 3 extra weeks to ponder upon what needs to change, what needs to be reviewed. And the fact that it's in conjunction with the North Node, is our destiny that is being reviewed this week. So yeah, pretty profound things, you guys. And so with Venus here in Pisces, she will be here and co-join Saturn for like 3 or 4 days, depending on where you live in the world. But be careful not to repeat karmic cycles in regards to finance and love within the next couple of days. If you meet someone right now, that could be very karmic, it could be very destined, but how crazy is it that Venus pops in as Saturn is about to leave? So these next 3 days until the 13th to 14th, really look around and look at what's happening and who's approaching you. Maybe it's going to be a karmic lover even from past lives. Maybe it's a karmic pattern in regards to finances that you need to break during these next days. But still, very profound energy. And it is such interesting timing that she ingresses here as Neptune already left and as Saturn is about to leave. So, yeah, this is like the Pisces area of your own natal chart. It is the area where a lot of things have felt so confusing over the last 14 years, but especially the last 3 years. There could have been all of disappointments with Saturn and Neptune, or there could have even been deceptive tendencies been playing out in that particular house where Pisces rules over in your own natal chart. And that right now is going to start to soften. Neptune, Saturn, they have brought fog, loss, disillusionment, and Venus now she comes in to like beautifully or beautify that same space. So this is welcome because healing is going to start to feel more gentle. Compassion is being replaced by the confusion, and something that once felt so heavy finally starts to feel more livable and more loving and more ethereal. And it can also be about forgiveness. So, of course, it doesn't erase everything that has happened in the Pisces sign over the last couple of years, but it is going to definitely change the atmosphere. So this is very beneficial if you are a Pisces, but also if you are a Scorpio, because Venus is going to trine you. And of course, that is also the case for Cancer. Venus is also going to make a beautiful trine towards you. And later in the month, we're going to see Venus trining Jupiter. That is going to be very happy. And it's going to be like some kind of a soft cosmic balm over all the other important things that are happening right now. So luckily, Venus is where she likes to be. And yeah, of course, yeah, the fog is lifting, the heart is opening right now, and something that once felt so draining can finally start to feel supportive again. But you're gonna feel that more after the eclipse, of course. And Venus in Pisces, she does not deal with logic. She's also never gonna discard her own values for the sake of attaining love. No, she's about imagination and hope and inspiration. And this is really the sign of unconditional love. So when you look at like a fantasy movie or read a fantasy novel, like the prince and his princess, and like all this beautiful loving energy that is really like Venus and Pisces. It is like a very good energy. So yeah, this is about soulmate love and a desire for connection and closeness, and she feels so deeply. But it's important to keep one foot on solid ground, because she can, however, put on her rose colored glasses, and she can even like not she's not able to see the mistakes of her loving partner, because in her eyes he is perfect. So yeah, it has its pros and cons, but be mindful of like savior energy. We do not need to save other people. They have the responsibility to do that for themselves, and that is going to be even strengthened and more highlighted with Saturn about to come into Aries, because Aries is our identity. It is the self. It is I am. And Saturn is a strict taskmaster. He is such a strict teacher. And with Saturn in Aries, it's about you are gonna need to fix your own problem. No more giving your power away to other people, to institutions. No, 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 that is all over and done yet. We're gonna need to learn how to fend for ourselves, how to fix our own problems, and we're gonna be confronted with the fact that we're actually way more capable at doing that than what we first were thinking. So that is actually beneficial. And Saturn and Neptune together, they are also about making dreams come true. But I'm going to talk more about that in my next weekly, of course. So if we then shift forward to the 11th, and I'm quickly going to look at the comments here. Funky Wanderer says Venus will be conjunct my moon when it trines Jupiter. Yay. That is so beautiful because Funky Wanderer, that means that we are having the same moon placement because Venus will also be conjunct my moon when it trines Jupiter. So that resonates quite strongly. I'm very, very curious how that will play out, but it's going to be very beneficial. So here on the 11th, that is actually also a very, very important day because Mercury in Pisces is actually going to go into his pre-shadow phase. So that means that Mercury here at 8 degrees, that is actually the exact degree where it's going to go retrograde back to and where it's going to station direct on the 20th of March. So whatever you're communicating right now, whatever you're like, look at your messages, at your phone calls, your emails, your contracts, everything that comes up now might be reviewed until like the 20th of March. And Mercury is on the north node. Oh my god, this is like so special. So it's gonna station retrograde at 22 degrees. And it's gonna go all the way back into 8 degrees. So if you have some placements in between these degrees, then you're gonna be very, very strongly implicated by Mercury's energy here over the next couple of weeks. So the Mercury retro, the pre-shadow phase, it actually begins when like Mercury travels over the territory that it will retrace its steps back to. And it tells very important things from February the 11th until February the 25th. He is traveling over the degrees where he goes back to. So anything you purchase, anything you agree upon, anything you decide, anything you sign or even like casually discuss is gonna come back up for a review. So this is really like a window of paying attention. Take notes of your conversations, of your decisions, your commitments, money exchanges, because Mercury is all about that. And it's also about like transactional. That is Mercury. Money, information, terms that you agree upon. It is all forms of communication. So everything you do right now, it might not be final. And it doesn't mean that you should like freeze your life or refuse to communicate. It's not so easy. It means that you need to slow down just enough to be like conscious of everything that is being said right now and everything that is being signed. For example, during the last Mercury retrograde, I bought a new phone because mine died. It happened in the third house of communication and technological advices for me. So very strong placement because Mercury traditionally belongs to the third house. I had to fix my car. I had to buy a new phone. I was like, oh my God, this is so much. But you need to like read the fine print, and I knew when I bought a new phone that it would be misery, and it is, and it was. It was not a good decision, so I'm still stuck with that right now. And I should have bought another phone, but still, like I'm just like giving you some examples of how the Mercury retrograde can play out. Another time, when we look back at last year during March, if I remember correctly, we also saw a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces is this fog, it's being lost with your head in the clouds a little bit. So I lost a few important letters and I've put them in the mailbox, but I've post stamped them wrong. It was the wrong post stamp that I put onto it. So it was for like a foreign country. And I was like, oh my God, these letters are going to be lost and they're not going to arrive at their destination because I stamped them wrong. And then suddenly, a few weeks later, they magically reappeared. And I even called the office and they were nowhere to be found. And suddenly they arrived at their destination. So Pisces, it is also the sign of like the unseen realms and like magical things. And maybe something gets lost, but after the Mercury retrograde is over, they can like magically reappear or they can be refound in a very miraculous kind of way. So it's going to be a very interesting energy here over the next couple of weeks. But Pisces is also lying. And with Saturn here at 29 degrees, we already see that a lot of liars are being exposed, and that is going to be an ongoing theme for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, be honest, tap into your intuition. Pisces, it is about our emotions and our feelings, and Mercury is speaking and talking about them. When it goes retrograde, there might be misunderstandings because we have not the right clue how to really how to really explain and talk about our emotions. That can be a little bit more difficult over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, double check all your agreements. You can ask clarifying questions if it is a little bit vague. And yeah, it's just like when we misunderstand something, we might need to tap into the opposite side of the wheel. That is going to be the solution for this Mercury retrograde. So maybe we might need to step a little bit out of the Piscean realm into the Virgo realm and really put more attention towards the little details. Being a little bit more critical of what we talk about, a little bit more critical about our emotions and how our emotions also block our karmic path and also destiny here. There's something being reviewed in that. So if we lean into the Virgo axis, that is literally like, what are the details? What is actually being said? Because we all understand people through our own lens of perception, and the lens of perception can be a little bit distorted right now. So really use discernment, use your critical lens here to navigate the Mercury retrograde, because some information might be missing, something might not be adding up. We do not want to suppress the Pisces energy either. We need to anchor it into the opposite side of the wheel. So listen to your intuition, but also use your discernment. And it's going to expose so much deception. And we already been going through that quite immensely the last couple of weeks. So yeah, just know if something feels foggy now, it's actually meant to, and it's meant to be clarified later when the Mercury retrograde is over. So do not don't rush decisions, but also do not ignore it either. We need to find balance in that. Something else we're seeing during that day is that the moon is in Sag, and Sag loves to explore, expand, go on an adventure, and tap into higher wisdom and really expand our mindset. And it's making a beautiful sextile here to the Sun and the Mars, so that's positive. But then on the next day, on February the 12th, we are seeing Mercury conjunct the North Node exact at 9 degrees, which is a Sagittarian degree. So that is actually beautiful here as it trines Jupiter, and Jupiter belongs to Sagittarius. So that is actually very beautiful for me to see. Destined conversations, destined review of our destiny, the North Node, and that being expanded by Jupiter. So that is actually big. Fate is speaking in sentences, you guys, during this day. So there can be strange messages. There can be strange synchronicities or like repeating themes. So pay attention. And also, of course, Pisces, it is about our dreams and they can feel extra loud and filled with omens, and that is being expanded by Jupiter, our wisdom, and being able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And this is so cool, you guys, because Jupiter, it is about zooming out, but Mercury here, it is about paying attention to the little details, but it does not do that very well in Pisces. So we might really need to double check, and luckily Jupiter is going to help us here with that. And also, there can be on a more mundane level or within the world stage or on the world stage, there can be leaks. There can also be a lot of confusion in the narratives that they try to install upon us, and be careful for misinformation, and also, yeah, like emotional deception being, yeah, displayed here by the news. Mercury rules about our mainstream media as well. So be careful, and really look for the truth, Jupiter. And it's going to be easier to tap into that, but still we need to be a little bit mindful. But definitely, the next few days, this is about fated conversations and messages, intuitive hits, and also write things down, and trust your intuition more than logic during this particular time. So I have something exciting to share with you. As you guys probably already know, I'm going to host my Aquarius Eclipse workshop on the 15th of February. It will be at 11 a.m. EST, so Eastern time. And you can definitely save 10% off with the promo code AQUA10. And you can find it at the Beyond Mystic Academy. It's probably linked here in the description box below. And then another thing here is the Floraline farm. She is also celebrating Valentine's Day. You can now buy these lovely smelling soaps like this, you guys. This is like Venus and Pisces. It is love, it is soft, it is calming, relaxing. It is actually very beautiful to implement that right now when Venus is in Pisces. So you can also save 10% off with promo code BM10. And also note that there are limited quantities available, and you can find that at the Floraline farm online. And it's also in the description box below here. So on February the 13th, oh my god, this is such a big one, you guys. Saturn is going to ingress into the sign of Aries. So we're done with the Piscean energy of like the big outer planets operating within that sign. And yeah, this is a very big mood switch, a very big, it's going to be such a trigger, you guys, this one. Like our whole collective mood from Pisces shifts into way more sharper and a more confrontational reality in the sign of Aries, because it wants action and risk, and it wants immediate results. But Saturn is like, ho ho ho, Aries, I know you want to go full force ahead, but you're gonna need to mature a little bit. You're gonna need to do it step by step, and I'm gonna be giving my strict eye and looking onto you if you are actually using your integrity, and if you are installing that into your identity, the sign of Aries. So really, it is about accountability. And this can really feel like a very big boot camp for the will, Aries. And we are being asked to act. So there's much more fire coming in, finally. But we need to act wisely and from like a mature perspective with Saturn here. So it's not about like dulling or refraining the Aries fire, even though Saturn is going to have an implication on doing that. And I'm really hoping that we're going to be free to be our own Aries fire identity, but Saturn is definitely going to try to limit that. And Saturn is also the planet of the government. So, but still, it's about forging into something for the long term. And yeah, Pisces, it was about surrendering. But Aries now, and Saturn there, it's going to teach us self mastery. So yeah, we might choose the hard road to really show our resilience, to have the fruits and efforts that are going to be paid out by Saturn, because Saturn, it is strict, it is hard, it is heavy. But once you complete Saturn's lessons, he is the one that is going to give you the biggest rewards. So keep that in mind when you feel like your progress is a little bit being stalled, or things are not going as fast as you would like. You're in here for the long haul, and it's not about short term satisfaction. And that is mostly what Aries is about. So there is a little bit of push and pull between these forces right now. Saturn, it is in fall in Aries, unfortunately, but still, we need to build stamina, build your muscles. That is a great way of dealing with the Saturn energy and like getting the sharp edges off of it. It's also like proving to yourself that you can follow through and that you can make it. Neptune is about our beliefs and our imagination, so Saturn is bringing structure into them. And Aries is the self. It is about believing in ourselves and making our dreams come true. So, yeah, this is like about growing up. Our identity, our independence, our leadership, all these themes are becoming very, very big and serious business. Yeah, a lot of people are gonna feel way less tolerant of excuses from yourself, but also from other people, like excuses and blaming other people and victim mentality. That was all Pisces, and that is over and done with right now. Now it's really about fixing our own problems and going ahead with them, and like just like grabbing them and teaching ourselves how to fix them. Like whenever I have a problem, I am an Aries. I just go on YouTube. Like YouTube is your best friend. For every problem you have, there's probably some kind of video that is going to show you how to fix it. And I'm like now talking in a more practical sense or a more practical way, but still, no more giving your responsibility towards another. No more handing it over towards institutions, towards friends, family, your parents, your children. That is all over now. Do not count on other people for fixing your problems. Otherwise, Saturn is going to be strict and tough on you. I'm just already putting that out there. So, yeah, it's also not doing things for applause anymore. It is doing things because we mean it. And the shadow side of this can be a little bit frustration, of impatience. And Rosalie says, I have my second Saturn return. Yeah, Rosalie, Saturn returns, they are not easy. But I'm just coming out of my Saturn return because I have Saturn in Pisces, and the last couple of years was about me feeling a little bit from time to time isolated and working very hard, putting in long hours behind the scenes, working on my own, doing a lot of client sessions. And apart from that, I felt like there was little room for fun, honestly. It is kind of hard, a Saturn return, but you've already been through that. And for other people who are having their Saturn return for the second time, you are already skilled and you have already been mastering the energy. So it's going to be easier the second time, unless it, of course, makes squares towards other planets. Then it might be beneficial to book in a session, and then I can guide you through and show you the most important places and aspects and time frames and where you are gonna, yeah, struggle a little bit more. But once you're through that, Saturn comes with such a big reward, and it is way better than like a Venus trine, because Venus trines, they are easily missed. Everything just goes well and goes smooth, and we enjoy the finer things in life, and we have a nice dinner, and we go to the spa. But it's the karmic rewards of Saturn. These are the ones that we're looking for. So I wish you good luck, Rosalie, and everyone else who is going through their second Saturn return. And yeah, it is just a way of like next step of growing up. So it's going to be beneficial once it's over. I promise you. And if you have the natal Saturn in Aries, you need to go to the gym. You need to work on congestion, blood flow, keep the blood flowing, strengthen the muscles. If you're going to do that, then it's going to be way easier for you. So movement is very important. Physical outlet. Aries likes to be go full force ahead. And Saturn can limit that, but it's about showing up consistently every day, putting in a hard work. It's not about short-term satisfaction. It's really about going through it, and then you get a very big reward. Small consistent actions, clear boundaries, a long-term plan that you can stick to even when motivation drops. And I'm now talking for everyone. Do not force the outcomes, do not rush the timing. We are all in divine timing, and I'm a very strong believer of that. Sometimes, like, I've seen it happen, people are just pushing until they finally get what they want. And once they get the things that they want, that is then their downfall. So sometimes it is a protection or a gift of the universe if we are not immediately receiving the things that we want. Sometimes there is a very big important reason for that, and it only becomes clear later what that exact reason was. So do not try to fight the current. Then we're gonna go to burnout, and then we're gonna feel like disillusioned and disappointment within our sense of identity. And that is not what Saturn is trying to do here. It is trying to forge your identity and to make you stronger and more resilient. So I know it is not easy. Definitely not if you're an Aries who likes to do things fast. And yeah, it is just like patience is definitely not my middle name. And we can all feel like a lot of people are going to experience issues with patience over the next 2 years. So yeah, again, breathing exercises. Whenever you feel impatient, do not pop off, because Aries, it is a sign of conflict. But if we're gonna throw a temper tantrum, then Saturn is gonna whoop our back, and that is not what we're looking for. So just keep that in mind. We do not want to piss off Saturn, because he can be very, very strict and tough on us. So yes, exactly, Claire. Trust the universe. It is on our side. That is well put. And I always say, like, life, it doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And once you can make the mind shift switch, then it all becomes easier, because you release the resistance. And that is the most important thing. Sometimes we are meant to go through some kind of upheaval and challenges, and it's all part of life, and it actually makes us who we are. I wouldn't want to trade my challenges and difficulties for an easier, more comfortable life, because then I would not be sitting here and I would not be able to talk about all of this to you guys. So hardship and spiritual suffering, and especially now with Saturn and Neptune, there is such a disillusioning effect in the sky, and it can feel a little bit confusing and a little bit draining, but it is actually a reckoning, and it is about becoming more aware, and really about surrendering to all of it, because the future is looking bright. We're just gonna have to go through another of couple intense years, but definitely you guys here within after 2032, things are really gonna shift. So it's not gonna stay the same as we've been seeing now. For example, since 2018, Uranus has been in Taurus. Taurus is Mother Earth, our body, our values, love, money. And Uranus has been creating such a wonky effect in that. And it's been creating so much destabilizing energy within our skies, within our earth, within our bodies. But Uranus is about to shift over into Gemini already by the end of April. That is also in itself a massive, big shift that is about to happen. And Gemini, it is our brain. So, of course, Aries rules the head and the eyes, but Gemini is the brain and how everything fires and wires together. And Uranus is about consciousness. And so we're going to have such a big reboot and upgrade within our brains going from the end of April until 8 years after that. So slowly but surely, we're coming out of like the spiritual collective, like dark night of the soul. But we're still like in the next 2 years, we will need to like adapt to all of these new energies and all of these new frequencies coming in, because all of the outer planets are shifting signs. This is such a magical time to be alive, and such an interesting planetary shift that we are seeing right now. It is actually making me very, very excited. So, yeah, it is. Yeah, Millie says, yes, Big Daddy Saturn, the disciplinarian. Yes, exactly. That is so true. And be mindful, because Aries, it can be quite confrontational, and Saturn and Aries, it can be about authoritarianism. And we're going to see that playing out within certain world leaders. Just know that it's part of the energy, and it's not going to last with Pluto and Aquarius. Definitely not the case. And whenever people are going to act authoritarian, then Saturn is also going to punish them, because Saturn limits Aries, our identity, our freedom. It is going to be a team in the next 2 years with Saturn and Aries, but still, Saturn is also the lord of karma and time. And so these world leaders are going to get karmic repercussions if they're going to try to really block our identity with whatever control mechanisms and new technology that they're having right now ready to install upon us. So do not freak out, you guys. Okay, so yeah, Saturn and Aries. A lot of new rules belong to Saturn in regards to militarization, borders, security, and a lot of public pushback against that. Yeah, Aries is conflict and a big fire initiation, but Saturn, it is about rules and structures and restriction and consequences, and all the actions right now that are going to be taken in haste and aggression or from our ego, they're going to boomerang so strongly, you guys. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting time. Very big global pivot towards more resilience. Systems also that are crashing, that are going to be rebuilt after they crack now under the Saturn Neptune conjunction and the Aquarius solar eclipse. And individuals, Aries, also very big energy about redefining what true strength really is. So yeah, it is very, very interesting energy here. And I can feel right now, it's like the grown-ups in the room, they are confused, they don't know what they're doing. And the so-called authority figures, Saturn, the people who are supposed to like have it all figured out, they actually don't. And that's very, very obvious right now. So yeah, there is a real sense that there's like no clear leadership in a lot of countries, no solid ground. Things feel unstable with Uranus, and the adults in the room are just as confused as everyone else right now. I think that is, yeah, Neptune is fantasy, this cracking, the governments are collapsing, the whole illusion is breaking. Like, actually, the spell is broken now that Neptune is out of Pisces. So, yeah, the cool thing is that we're going to have way more new, young, strong leaders coming in. And Saturn Neptune is showing us that many figures that we once idolized, Neptune and Pisces, the leaders, the visionaries, our role models, are actually far more corrupt and far more lost and directionless than we actually were led to believe. So yeah, the pedestal, it is collapsing, and it was about time. And now collectively we are being forced to grow up. And Lakeside Laura says there are adults in the room, and that is so funny because Laura is also an Aries. So yeah, we are up for a very big task, Laura, but we're gonna pull each other through it, and we are gonna do great. So and hey, Anya, she's also from the Netherlands. That is like my neighboring country. Very, very cool to also see some Dutch people here in the chat. So yeah, I was gonna go through all the pros and cons, but I'm already in for an hour, and I'm not even by the end of the week. So I'm just gonna quickly look at Valentine's Day. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, not the best Valentine's Day, honestly, because we can look at the moon here. The moon is actually in detriment in Capricorn. The moon belongs in Cancer in the opposing sign. So yeah, she's far away from home, you guys. And the moon in Capricorn, she's not about roses at all. It can even be about resentment coming up. It can also be about a very big like reevaluation of, is this person showing up enough for me? Can I count on them? Of course, the Venus is going to act like a bit of a cosmic balm here. That is about romance and poetry and soul merging. But still, guys, we have Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. We have Uranus. Actually, Saturn is in fall. Uranus doesn't like to be here. Mars doesn't like to be here. Mercury is in detriment. Luckily, Venus is in exaltation and Jupiter is in exaltation. But apart from that, it is not the best Valentine's Day, to be honest. And yeah, there can be like an overall energy because Pisces is about moments that a lot of people here are gonna feel the moon like, please don't write me a poem and just like fix the sink or fix the car or just like do something earthy on Valentine's Day for your lover because it's not really the most romantic chart here, honestly. Luckily, Venus is going to balance that a little bit out, and it can definitely be if you meet someone new with Venus on the North Node that it's very, very destined, but be mindful of the rose colored glasses. A moon in Capricorn can, however, be a good day to have an honest conversation. But actually, when I look at this, I think a lot of people with Saturn and Neptune leaving Pisces, like the blindfolds are coming off. And a lot of people are seeing the truth for what it is because there's not a lot of confusion here anymore. There's less confusion with Saturn and Neptune not in Pisces anymore. And it can be a very, very big reckoning with reality. And a lot of things that were like hidden behind the fog, behind the veil with Pisces energy is now becoming like, it's becoming so obvious. It is right up in our faces with Aries. Aries rules the face. So yeah. And Rosalie says, I have heard this before. That's not the best Valentine's Day. I think it's just a commercial day. Exactly. And whenever someone asks me if I like do Valentine's Day or like if I celebrate it, then I say like, no, with me, I have Venus and Pisces. I was born with it. Like it is every day is Valentine's Day with me. And I think it is a commercial day. And yeah, it is just like show your love towards one another. I would like, if I were to celebrate Valentine's Day, I would do it on the 18th and the 19th because then the moon will be in Pisces alongside Venus and Mercury and the North Node, and that will be after the eclipse. That is going to be a better day if you really want to express your love for your partner. So yes, love is definitely far more deeper than roses and chocolates. That is indeed, yeah, the best thing to put it like this. And Elwood, I'm so happy for you. It's one of the best this year for me because I've actually got a Valentine for the first time in years. That is so beautiful, Elwood. See, and I wish everyone the love that they truly deserve. So yeah, celebrate that. If we then look a bit further, yeah, it's also we can see that there is, yeah, this day can be about like unmet desires and that coming to light, and it can be surprisingly and suddenly and shockingly, especially with like, yeah, the eclipse that is on its way. And I do see that people are going to be breaking up after this Valentine's Day. So if we look at the 15th, I'm gonna tell you why. Here we can see it. This is the problem, you guys. We can see that the moon is going to be on Pluto, and really mark this day in your calendar, guys, February the 15th, because people are gonna be wild. People are gonna be acting out of control. The moon on Pluto, this is not too good, you guys. And like now we have an Aquarius eclipse, but within a couple of months, 6 months to be exact, on the 29th of July, we're going to see a full moon in Aquarius. It is not going to be an eclipse, but it will be conjunct Pluto. Whatever happens on the 15th is going to have some kind of weird connection into the end of July. So really take notice of that. Moon, Pluto together. It is like, yeah, shocks, surprises, sudden announcements. We're going to see tech issues. By then, like the sun is also squaring Uranus that day. This can be a day where people are going to be like, whoa, well, that escalated quite quickly. So whatever happens during this day, it's going to be quite loud. And I would all advise you to just keep it calm, stay at home Sunday, and just tune in with my eclipse workshop, and then you're all going to be fine. But if you're going to be in big groups of people, Aquarius, or friendships, Aquarius, then it might be a bit of an intense day, honestly. So do not force control. Let the truth surface, but we're also going to see a lot of political drama and even cyber attacks, internet outages, protests. Yeah, people are going to be a bit wild, honestly. So yeah, it is a volatile day. Sun square Uranus, moon on Pluto. It is also starting to have like a balsamic moon phase. That is even going to kick in more on the 16th. The day before the eclipse, we are seeing like the balsamic moon, which is a dark moon. And they also call that the devil days. So the 15th, moon on Pluto, the 16th, moon on Mars. The sun is squaring Uranus a day before an eclipse. Let go whatever doesn't support your purpose anymore, what doesn't serve your life anymore. This is like emotional purging. And it can be a bit more of a difficult day, honestly. This is, yeah, about emotional release. The moon and Mars together in Aquarius, it is quite unhinged, honestly. Both days, February 15th and 16th. Rest, disconnect, do not fuel the chaos, do not put like oil onto the fire or like fuel on the fire. It is best to just like take a chill pill and just like yeah, keep it calm, but it's gonna be difficult. We really put the focus on grounding, because with the sun square Uranus, we're gonna see a lot of surprises, and definitely the day before the eclipse, that is gonna be quite interesting. And I predict so many changes in friend groups, and I'm already seeing that around me. Groups are falling apart. New groups are forming right now. It is what it is. Aquarius is also about our soul tribe and really calling in the right people to surround ourselves with, that are more powerful, that are, yeah, some kind of transformational energy in our lives with Pluto, and that can help us get through this transit for the next 15 years with Pluto still here until 2043. So very big moment of awakening here. And we're going to see major tech or infrastructure issues, and there can even be like, yeah, major disruptions in systems. So I'm already like throwing it out there. But of course, I am going to share more about the solar eclipse in Aquarius, of course, during my eclipse workshop on the 15th. So it will be on a Sunday. I especially did it on a Sunday, so a lot of you guys can enjoy from the comfort of your own couch. Because look, Mercury, communication, and Pisces, spirituality, trine Jupiter, happiness, expansion, implication, in the sign of Cancer, your home. So yeah, it is also one of the reasons why I picked the day, because if you look at the 15th, that aspect is gonna be nearly exact. So yeah, I'm looking really much forward to explaining more about all of that. And just know that it's, yeah, a time of disruption and change and innovation and upheaval, and it is a push outside of our comfort zones. So yeah, Emily, exactly. The new moon and the solar eclipse is going to be very transformative. Yes, because it happens in the same sign of where Pluto is operating in, and also Mars is in Aquarius, and we actually have. And I can still say this like to end the today's video, but Saturn right now it is in Aries. Which planet belongs to Aries? It is Mars. Saturn is actually the ancient ruler of Aquarius. So we can see a mutual reception going on between Saturn and Aries and Mars and Aquarius. That is going to give us somewhat of a stability through the chaos of the eclipse that is about to come forward. During the eclipse, Venus is also on a north node. So, yeah, Venus is also about our love and also our friendships and how we celebrate that. So, I can see a lot of new people coming in, and I cannot wait to tell you more about this eclipse. I've also included like the fire horse and what that means, and a lot of different charts, and I've also included reactivations of the solar eclipse within the next few weeks and even months. And I'm really going to highlight a lot of different important time frames here, in which this eclipse is going to fully further develop. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you so much, Laura. Please like, share, and subscribe. Indeed, and of course, you can book in a session if you guys would like that. I'm already booking into April, and April is gonna be a very, very wild time. I'm already putting it out there. We're gonna have a 7 planetary stellium in the sign of Aries. So if you're a fire sign, it would be very interesting to look where it's actually taking place for you and which aspects it's made. Because right now, like, everything is now gonna go into Pisces, and after that we can see a build-up all the way until April, whenever all of the planets are gonna gather for their final big bang boom release in the sign of Aries. And Aries is quite explosive, so it would be good and wise to be a little bit prepared before that moment truly kicks off, because it's gonna be a lot to deal with, honestly. So also I've noticed that a lot of people are booking in a personal 1 year ahead, but it's also very important to look at your birth chart, because by understanding your birth chart, you can use this way more to your advantage here, 1 year ahead overview. So just like mentioning that as well. So do not forget to like, share, and subscribe here on the Beyond Mystic channels, and also be ready for Beyond Healing with Shannon tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is such a beautiful show that I like to watch. And I also have something else to tell you guys. Look, there is a special show tonight, Beyond Akashic, with Alexandra, also starting her new show here on Beyond Mystic. You can watch that tonight at 8 p.m. So thank you guys all so much for being with me here today, and I'm wishing you all good luck on your adventure here and on all the plot twists that are about to come onto your path. Just know that Aquarius is also about liberation, and it is actually about setting yourself free and being confronted with the truth of the matter and being able to innovate something in that. So, love you guys all so much, and I will see you back soon. Bye bye.